Welcome to the Sacred School of Outreach. I'm Queen Carlina here with King Reverend Dr. Kenneth Clark, and we were having a conversation just before this started. I said, let me turn on the recording and get started because the conversation was getting way too good. So many things are moving so fast. You, sir, have been moving at lightning speed. So I want to just welcome you and turn it over to you so we can continue this conversation so that the people can hear the wisdom that you're sharing today.
Bless you, bless you, bless you, Queen. Thank you for all your fine, phenomenal work. As we continue to make this a wonderful, empowering, enlightening impartation teaching. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why we do what we do at the Sacred School of Outreach is to impact people mentally, physically, and spiritually. And each time that we get on here, you're going to constantly keep hearing me say that. You're going to constantly keep hearing me say the importance of us being mentally well in our mind, but also being mentally wealthy. You're going to constantly hear me talk about the physical position of our culture, the physical position of our thinking, the physical position of our spirituality, the physical position of our communities, the physical position of our culture, who we are, where we originated from, the power that we have on the inside of us. Because the days of just waiting for something magical to come out of the sky and just say, oh, it's going to sweep up and it's going to be a superhero with a cape and say, here I am. No, 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 no. We have the power, ladies and gentlemen. God has already given us life and life more abundantly. He's already given us provision. Know where he gave us the provision? With the spirit of discernment. Discernment is the spiritual strategy to give us the thought thinking process of how to do a thing. Discernment is not just being about being aware of an environment, but it's about utilizing the thought strategy. That's what discernment does. You tap in. You tap in from the physical to now to the spiritual. They call that supernatural. So we are supernatural beings. We are supernatural entities, meaning we can transcend. We can literally change the physical position of where we are at currently by operating in spiritual authority. We don't pray to a God for God not to deliver. Oh, I know that's a tough one. That's a tough one. And some of us were praying and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying, and we feel like we're getting a concrete wall. We're getting a concrete wall. You know why we're getting a concrete wall? It's because we're not tapping in. We're not listening. We're doing more hearing than listening. When you listen, that means you take application. That means you move. When you hear, you just you just hear. But when you listen, you apply. You know, it's a saying my teacher used to say, you study long, you study wrong. And I never really understood what she meant when she would say that. Like, what you mean you study long, you study wrong? She said, because a lot of people overthink and they have all of the answers, they have all of the knowledge, they just don't use it. They don't, she said they spend all of this time And we spend all of this time going to conferences. Oh, I'm going to bust some things up today. Go to conferences, we go to these empowerment sessions and whatnot, and we leave without applying any of the knowledge. So we were there physically, but we weren't there spiritually. And a lot of us have an A in spirituality and we have an F in life. We fail mentally, we fail spiritually, we fail physically. Because what we do is we got a lot of moving pieces that's going on currently right now. There is a pause on certain funding right now from our presidential administration. There's a pause. And last time that I checked, the text said, love thy neighbors, you love thyself. Do unto others as you would have done unto you. If my brother or sister is in need and I have earthly substance, then I am to bless him or her. But we're not blessing him or her because we're looking for status quo. We're looking at social economics stance. We're looking at a person's political party affiliation. The text never said, do unto others if he or she is a Republican. Do unto others if he or she is a Democrat. Do unto others if he or she is a Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, Judah. But these are the constructs that we use. And so because we operate and allow these constructs to become borders, we want to talk about borders, we create borders all the time. Anytime that you can come across an individual and you don't pray for that individual, anytime that you can come across an individual and you generalize the homeless, we say things like, well, you're we have a generalization thought process. And that thought process comes from the labeling theory. We say ruthless things. 80% of the homelessness, they only homeless because they got mental problems. That's not true. Oh, well, most of the people that are homeless is because they don't want to follow rules and regulations. That's not true. Well, most of the people that's homeless, they don't want to be taught. That's not true. Now, this is not to say that you don't have a few people that may try to bend the rules or twist the rules. This is not to say that a person may not have experienced some mental distress, but to overall, to create a construct, to demonize, because that's what it is. Label theory is a form of demonization. Look at them. They should have pulled it. They should do just like I done. They got straps. Pull their shoestrings. This kind of stuff that we say. This is what we say. What do we do to a person who don't have no shoestrings to pull themselves up? What do we do to the person that is unhoused, homeless, that don't have no family, that don't have nobody to call and check on them? What do we do? What do we do if somebody is mentally despaired or mentally distressed? Do we just erase them? Say, well, they need to get themselves together. That ain't my problem. I'm not mentally distressed. They need to do what I need to do. And this is the culture. This is the culture. This is the climate. This is the culture and the climate. People are running a while right now. Well, I put a filet mignon on the table, and I'm trying to figure out why nobody won't come up and see what I have. I put tracts to invite people to come out to my church. I don't understand why they won't come up to this table and get some of these clothes. I don't understand why I've done all this work and I'm not seeing nobody participate because you made it about you and not about him. Anytime we get into a posture that we think we doing outreach because it's about us and it's not about the will of the people. It's not about you standing in the gap to ward off the arrows of darkness, to protect them so that he or she can progress mentally, physically, and spiritually. For us to think that it's a justification to put somebody out at 6 a.m. in the morning in 10-degree weather and say, oh, well, they must have done something. For us to sit back and for us to not create community for us to actually become community for that person that is distressed, for us to continue to depend on systems that are worthless, and we have the wherewithal, we have the revelation, we have the knowledge, we have the insight, we have the discernment to become the change that we want to see. But we want to sit on our seats and do nothing. We want to sit on our seats and do nothing and keep accepting the same business as usual. Keep turning our backs on each other. Keep looking at the black man as being demon, as being the demon. As keep looking at the black queen as being the devil. And these are the systems. This is the climate that we have allowed. We have allowed these forces to rob us of our spirituality and deem our spirituality as being that of witchcraft. The only time we want to do something for somebody is when we want to invite somebody to come out to church. God give us 7 days in a week. So what happens when we pull up and we just tell somebody to come out to church? So what happens on Monday? What happens on Tuesday? What happens on Wednesday? What happens on Thursday? What happens on Friday? What happens on Saturday? We allow to be bamboozled and hoodwinked, thinking all that a person has to concentrate on is spirituality. So they can go to their places of worship and still have guns going off in their community. And we tell people just pray about it. We are literally coming to the poor and asking the poor to give their last dollar. Now, I know I'm going to take some hits on this, on what I'm about to say, but it is what it is. We got people, senior citizens, giving their last pension, their last retirement to some religious institutions. And when he or she don't have the medicine to pay, when he or she, and we use things, well, you can't afford not to. Then we misuse and misinterpret the scripture. Well, God will pour out a blessing. You rob God. How can man rob God? Man can't rob God. How's man gonna rob God when God sits on the hill, high and seated on the throne? So we got people, our senior citizens, those that are sick, those that are living in distressed communities. And it's distress because some of the individuals are walking from their own communities to their places of worship, and nobody's talking about that. We will have a clergy day. Uh-oh. But where's the community day? Then the community day that we use, we deem the community day that we have, we deem that community day as the only day for people to come to the sanctuary. No, let's have a community day where the church is coming to the community. Hi, what are your needs? How can I pray? Didn't Yeshua say, I come to serve not to be served? So why aren't we pulling up where our senior citizens are at, putting some smiles on their faces, letting them know that they are valued and they're precious? Why aren't we engaging with them for them to impart the wisdom to our youth? Maybe perhaps if we started doing that, we can unlock some things. We can see some patterns change. We can see some behaviors change from that wisdom that's inside of them. Why aren't we being open and honest and transparent? Why are we sitting here with our collars on and very fine apparel and acting as if that we came out of the womb with angelic wings? We ain't never smoked no dope. We ain't never done no crack. We ain't never had a bottle. We ain't never smoked no cigarettes. We ain't never had. We never been through fruitless relationships. We even got songs that we brand, and we have the nerve to say, I don't know what's going on with these millennials of today. Their music is just toxic. No, their music is the same music as it was back in your day. Superfly, I'm your weed man. I'm your dope man. I'm your lover. No justification. We're not going to justify and say, oh, well, those were different times. How do we get to where we're at right now? The relationships. Make up to break up. That's all we do. First you love me, then you hate me, then you play the game. That's what we do. For these are songs way before my time, ladies and gentlemen. And the youth for today is like, how are you sitting here telling me what I should be doing? That's right. And whole time we are just a byproduct of everything that you swept up under the rug and you thought now, currently, that this stuff wasn't going to come out. And this happens, my friends, because we haven't taken the time to retrain and to deprogram this climate. How do we get to a place where we generalize everybody? Some people do want to get help, but because we're so dogmatic and so brutal, class and image is the new oppression of 2024. You can make that as the phrase. Tell them Dr. Clark put that. That's
2025.
what you, yeah, 2025. Class and image has become the new oppression. Class and image. Well, I didn't want to say nothing about, about them guns going off. I didn't want to say nothing to the people in charge because, if I do say something, people might think that I'm here just to stir something up. So you're gonna let mom and dad, because really that's how we should be looking at each other as mom and dad, as your fellow brother, as your fellow sister. But this is what we say. I'm called for outreach. This is what we say. I'm called. I'm called. Lord, send me. I'll go. And when we're sent, we don't operate in discernment, so we don't tap into the spirit. We don't pray. 7 days in a week. I'm trying to figure out why we can't give why we can't give at least four 4 hours of personal time and intimacy with God. But we treat God like accessories the same way that we treat each other like accessories. We put God on the shelf and only go to God when in time we need him. God, I promise you, you give me this Bentley, this Mercedes. I swear, I'm trying to tell. This is what we do. This is what we do. Another thing, I love the fact of helping everyone across the board. It's what we should do. It's what we should do. We've been mandated to go ye therefore into the world. But why do we hop skip what's going on in our own front yards and backyards? We'll raise millions and millions of dollars to go across the other side of the equator, and we'll walk right out of our own front door, right where our grocery market is, and sees and overlook. We just walk. We walk right from our own front door. Communities in shambles, guns going off, kids don't feel safe, getting on the bus. Charity starts at home. Charity. No, it really does starts at home. We're not taking the time to value each other. We treat each other like an item you get on a shelf in a store. We talk down on our women. You got some of us that haven't taken the time to put in the work for the training to reprogram the minds for the mind to get rehabilitated. So we operate in the posture of misogynism. Let's talk about it. We have a problem with women being in position. That comes from a place of insecurity. Insecurity is the product of you not knowing who you are. Most of us are insecure because we don't recognize who we are. Most of us are operating in insecurity because we don't recognize we have power. Because greater is he that's within than he that be in the world. So we have power. We have power. We have power to tread upon scorpions. We have power to breathe life. We have power to show love. We are supposed to be becoming the change that the originator made us to be. Why are we looking here, there, and else and everywhere for not taking care of our seniors, not take care of the sick, the poor, the ostracized, the marginalized, the people that don't dress like you, don't talk like you? And I'm even taking a step further here, don't smell like you. Outreach is not about sitting back looking cute and handsome. Some of my most transforming moments have been in some of the most peculiar situations. You might have to go out here and hug a brother and hug a sister, and they might smell like corn liquor. Because that hug, as you operate in the spirit and the power and the anointing of God, that's what they need. They need that touch. That touch comes from us. I know, this is what we do. God send blessings. Okay, and God say, oh, you funny. You real funny. The blessing is you. We want God to come off the throne and want him to do the work. No. We are God's children of Israel. God has given us all the dominion to dominate, to overcome, and guard. We are to guard and dominate, protect, provide, and uplift. We are to provide, protect, guard, uplift, and guide. Guide, guard, protect, provide, and serve. When we serve, serving comes from a place of being selfless and not selfish. Oh, I know, I know. Well, I'm just doing this because it makes me feel good. And I'm not saying serving is not going to bring you uh, a euphoria, but we're not serving for us. We're serving for others. We're serving because we care to uplift others out of their situation. It's not about us. We should be, each time that we interact with a person, that person should be uplifted mentally, spiritually. They, by the time we interact with them, they should feel like they're about to walk on water. Because what we don't understand is they have may have been in prayer for change, for relief to come, and we got to realize we're that relief. We are their answered prayer. Shout out to Tupac Barbershop and comedian Phillip Page. I just, just wanted to, personally thank and thank them personally because it wasn't second guessing. Yeah, it's 10 degrees out here. Yeah, what you need? We're a pillar in the community. We're a staple in the community. Yeah. Oh, Dr. Clock, what you need? You need coats? Listen, once we get done with this coat drive, come talk to me. I want to be in on the other projects that you need. My house is your house. We here to help our youth. We here to help the people. That's what we're here for. And teaching youth responsibility, showing up to work on time, showing them what it's like to work in a professional setting, showing them what it's like to clean a place, showing them how to communicate with people in the public, showing them how to be able to be around professionals. And they didn't have to go to no ballot. They didn't have to go nowhere. We put in a container at the front door and we telling people you want to come in, you want to see this comedy. We ain't asking you to pay, but we telling you bring a coat in, something that you would wear. See, that's how you create change, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you become the community. You pull right within your reach. And the way that we're able to do that is because we recognize the deity, we recognize what God has called us to be. We recognize that we are a God, that we have guardianship over our community, over all our people. We become the protector, we become the guard, we become the banner against the enemy. And we get in there and we tell every demon, every devil, they gotta back up and go right back to the pit of hell from which they come from. You gotta go. You gotta get up out of here today. You got to go. No longer will you continue to oppress. No longer will you continue to have my people in bondage. No longer will you continue to bamboozle, to bewitch them. No longer will you continually to rob them from them being the people that God called them to be. And this is that time. Now, it's a lot of things that's happening, that's going on around us, and it's happening because this is going to be the time where we're going to see who's going to rise up and say, you know what? I don't care what happened. The enemy got an agenda, but we got an agenda. Oh, well, this, well, no, we're no longer making excuses for the enemy. We cannot continue to allow the dehumanization to continue to see the pain of our people, and we keep looking elsewhere. And we have the power, we have the tools, we have the provision right within us. The enemy only attacks us because we not operating in our position. The enemy knows knows who he is, but do we know who we are? We the only ones that don't know who we are, but can murmur and complain about any and everything that we're not in charge of, that we're not in control of. Because the enemy then got us bamboozled, then got us hoodwinked, and created a culture and a climate to make us think that we are less than, that we're not a royal priesthood, that we not the kings and queens that God made us to be, that we not the victorians, that we not the conquerors, that we not the champions. And he's given us, he's created a construct of media, main distraction in America, to blind us, to give us blindfolders on our faces, getting us to close the benediction on each other. So now when public enemy come in, the enemy come in and he devour because we don't know who we are. We don't operate, no longer operate in our identity. We no longer operate in being what God called us to be. We are a chosen people. We are a royal priesthood. So we cannot continue to operate in this season. Now I'm saying this and speaking this very prophetically. This is sowing season. Most people are, oh, well, I don't know how this can be sowing season and it's all this chaos and stuff going on. All of earth is moaning and groaning for the sons and daughters of God to rise up. All of heaven and earth is waiting on us to get in position. Eagles don't wait on no other animal to help feed themselves. They are guided. They use their discernment. That eagles soar because they use discernment. You'll never see an eagle fight with another animal. You know why that is? Because it operates in discernment. It knows how to pick up and keep moving. When a predator gets on its neck, it knows how to keep going up. It never goes down. That eagle go up. And most of us, we're too busy going down. And we operate in the spirit of being overly humble. Well, I'm just trying to be humble. God said you are a king. You don't got to be humble over that. That's what he made you to be. Walk in your kingship. Well, I'm just, I'm, no, you walk in your queenship. Well, it's a lot of stuff out there, and well, these people, them spirits, and he allowed you to see the spirit so you can speak to it. How did Yahweh walk past a tree and the tree was dead and curse it? Many of us are walking around things that are dead and we ain't cursing it, we ain't speaking to it, and it's just laying there, laying dormant. We leave people in any kind of condition. The enemy then whipped up and beat up on them and told them all kind of things. You ain't gonna amount to nothing. You gonna be dumb. You're the worst mistake. Ba 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 ba. We are kings and queens. We are called to come in and restore order. We got to get back into a place of restoring order. I don't care what you got. You got to get bold, on fire, radical, and say enough is enough. Back up. Back the hell up. Literally. Tell that demon, tell that spirit, back up. Be bold with that thing. And whatever you have to do to become spiritually, physically, and mentally in position to speak to these things, do it. This is not a season to talk. This is a season to do. Kings don't talk. Queens don't talk. They do. When a king and queen talk, it's set in stone. Ain't no ain't no veto in it, ain't nothing. No, it becomes law and order. That means it's established. Ain't no votes. Because when you've been sent from on high, God, He's not playing. And so I encourage in our endeavorments in all that we do, rise up. Rise up, king. Rise up, queen. Quit being selfish. Quit being unempathetic. Quit being not moved with love. Quit closing the benediction on folks. God could have closed the benediction on you a long time ago, but he didn't. He called you for a time such as now. Rise. Walk in your kingdomship. Walk in your rulership. For the kingdom of heaven suffering violent, and the violent take it by force. Take this thing by force. Because you know what? You were made for this. You were made for this.
That was a powerful, powerful message. You were built. We were built for this. And you're absolutely right. It's time for us to, as guardians, to emerge and to take our position, especially as we see the government establishing all of these different unexpected regulations and pronouncements and things like that. There's spaces for us to fill. And those who have been, let's say, pouring oil, in the Bible, it talks about the 10 virgins, and 5 of them had oil in their lamps. And when the bridegroom came, there were 5 who had nothing and were trying to take from those who had. And so there are those of you who have been pouring oil in your lamps, and you understand that this is a call for you to stand up, a call for you to emerge. It's time for us to stand, for us to take our rightful thrones and to dominate, as you said. That was powerful. It's one thing to keep thinking, oh, we need to pray. But understanding that God has already given us everything that we need. You don't pray to every time you go to your car to put your key, you don't pray that that car is going to turn over. You know it's going to turn over. It doesn't require belief. Unless you haven't maintained your car, it doesn't require belief. You go and you put it in. And so there are things that we want to do. And, listening to you, there are places of fear, some that's obvious to us and others that may not be as obvious. And we can use prayer as an excuse, or I'll wait and hear from God.
Prayer ain't a cop out for what he already called you to do.
Yeah.
And we use prayer as a cop out. Prayer, we use this. These are the 2 things we use. Well, I'm waiting on God. You waiting on God is a cop out. You praying is a cop out. He's given us life and life more abundantly. Every day he wakes us up and gives us new mercies. What are we doing? How are we manifesting heaven on earth? How are we really manifesting heaven on earth? We've been so brainwashed that we fail to recognize what our assignment is. And our assignment is to breathe life everywhere we go. Each time you come into contact, there should be an exchange of life being breathed. Something should be changing. Somebody should be brought out of bondage. Somebody should recognize who they've been called to be when you come in contact. We do a lot of praying, but don't realize we are the prayer. Oh, somebody missed that right there. We do a lot of praying and don't realize we are the prayer. Because when we show up, God show out.
And that's literally an offering. That thing about money and giving tithes and offering has been so defiled and corrupted. I got to give it to a church, or I have to give 10% or whatever. But literally listening to you, it's like every opportunity we get to come into contact with someone, we get to offer. We're the prayer. We get to offer a part of ourselves, who God has made us to be. And then that brings about that fair exchange. And so as we're offering to them, they're offering back to us. And that is the breath of life. And God breathed into man a breath of life, and man became a living soul. Wow. There you go, King Kenneth. The breath of life. That's you. Wow.
This is it, y'all. It's eagles up, man. It's eagles up. It's eagle. I'm an eagle. It's eagle time. It's eagle time. We soaring. We not taking no prisoners. We are not taking, no, we are not backing down. We not letting no demon, no devil, no witch, no warlock, no bondage, no iniquity, nothing stopping us from being what we've been called to be. And that is to breathe life. Everywhere that I go, from the north, south, east, and west, we to breathe life. Eagles up, y'all. It's eagle time.
Yes. I say. I say. Thank you all for this was our third school of sacred school of outreach. And do you want to tell them before we get out of here how the coat drive is coming, and just a few of the things that you've been able to do, the people that you've been able to reach out to this past week, these past few days?
Listen, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. You need to go right on to 2 Mac Barbershop. They are a pillar in the community in the nation's capital, right on Georgia Avenue. I'm telling you, you need to pull up, pull up with a jacket, pull up with a coat. Listen, we're gonna do 1,000+ coats. We're gonna do 1,000+ coats from kids to men, women. We Sacred School of Outreach has already come in contact with over 500 individuals that we're touching personally, whether it be providing them with mental health support services, whether it be providing them with case management, so that they can begin the path in the journey to success. This is what we're doing at the Sacred School of Outreach, and I will be kindly to ask you if you can support. We are a sacred school of outreach, and we're about this business 365 days a year. We're not waiting on no politician to get in office. We're not waiting on no holiday to get in there. We are out and about in all of the communities around the region, DC, Maryland, and Virginia. Yes, we have some other initiatives that's going to connect with overseas, but currently right now we want to make sure that we're impacting locally. We want to impact our businesses. We want to keep our sponsors in. We want to keep our sponsors in that continue to support the Sacred School of Outreach, our historic Ben's Chili Bowl, our historic Ella Ray's, our historic Tumac Barbershop.
Yes.
We want to keep them into fruition, because they are not ones that's just sitting behind the scenes. They're the ones that saying, listen, we are standing in the gap with you. We're going to support, and we're going to create some opportunities of employment so that we can train at least one or two individuals. See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. We becoming the change that we want to see. We becoming the village and we become the community. And so I encourage you, I need y'all to donate. I need y'all to donate. We don't do this work right here for nothing. We are feeding lives. We have 3 shelters. We have one shelter that has about 200 plus in there. We're serving our queens. And we're not just doing this as a one-time thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's not enough to come up and just feed once out of 7 days a week. No, we have got to do this. And so we've been reaching out to several different small businesses, and we're reaching out to you, the public. You see the fine, phenomenal work that's going on, and you see what's happening. This is not about fanfare, but this is about impacting the lives of the people. And so that's what I'm asking you to be a part of. We're being a part of the change. We're making sure that nobody in these 10-degree weather is cold. We're gonna make sure they're warm. And then we already got word based upon the weatherman that it's gonna be it's gonna be a warmer spring, it's gonna be a hotter summer. So we're going to be doing the same thing then. We're going to make sure that we have hydration for our kings and our queens. We're going to be doing a water drive. Yeah. We not waiting. We're not waiting till these seasons get here. We're starting to do the work now. We're getting bottles of water now. We're getting the necessities now. Why? Because now faith is
Hmm.
substance of things now. We not waiting on nobody else. We not waiting on no superhero. No, we are going to use what we have. We're going to operate in the spirit of discernment, and we're going to be reaching out to each and every one of you. You can make a $15 pledge to the School of Outreach. It's real simple. Cash App is $ 202-805-2651. We are on the ground, in the trenches, doing the necessary work that's needed. And stay tuned to February 17th as we commemorate the great beloved icon, one of our great ancestors, the beloved Malcolm, MLK Day
Martin.
on YouTube. Yeah, Martin Luther King
Mhm.
on MLK Street, Utah Street, in the celebration of Martin Luther King. We are going to be on February 17th, Utah, in Baltimore. We Are Us movement. We're going to be coming together, and we're going to be coming and celebrating, and with men, women, children, all of the all everybody, lie down everybody, all kinds of the walk of life, and we're going to come together in unison and declare peace. And we saying prayers up, guns down. We saying stop the beef, stop the killing. We saying if we fed up, show up. Enough is enough. One life lost is one too many. We all we got, and we all we need.
Absolutely. And that's at Utah and Preston Streets in Baltimore, Maryland, February 17th. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode, the third episode of the Sacred School of Outreach. Thank you, King.